Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is our final video for our 2025 Sew With Me series. So I hope you have enjoyed sewing along with me for these last 12 months for 2025 for our Sew With Me series. Hopefully you've learned a lot, and hopefully at this point you are done with all of your blocks and you're ready to put them all together, because that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. Now let's do a little quick recap of all of the blocks we've done so far. So here was block 1, here was block 2. This is actually our backing, pieced backing block, and our front block number 2. We've got block number 3, block number 4, block number 5, number 6, number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then our block number 12. We have all of our blocks made, and now in today's video it's time to put it all together. Now if you started out with us way back in January for our first video, we actually completed all of our bow sashing and sashing strips for the whole quilt. So all we have to do now is put it all together. Now there is a little bit of a tricky section for the bows because you want your bow sashing to line up with your block. So I'm going to show you how to do that today, and I'll show you how I assembled my block. So you don't have to put your blocks in the same order that I put them in, especially if you have different color combinations. You might just want to lay them out on your floor or your design wall and just make sure that you've got your colors nice and evenly dispersed throughout your quilt, so you don't have a bunch of really heavy colors in one corner. It just is a little bit more balanced. Once you figure out what blocks you want to put in what row, I like to go ahead and put together my horizontal rows first. So I will pick my 3 blocks for row number 1, and then I'll go ahead and add those vertical sashing strips to those blocks, and then I'll do that for the rest of my rows. So I'll get my horizontal rows done first. The next thing I'll do is get my horizontal sashing rows done. So I'll take those little sashing strips that were like the dark brown with the light brown, put them together with my red cornerstone, and make my horizontal sashing strips as well. Once I'm done with those horizontal strips, then I'll go ahead and start putting them all together. Now let's take a quick look at that first row that has our bow block. If you chose not to do the bow block, that's okay, you don't have to. But if you did, I'm going to show you how I did mine to make sure that all of those pieces lined up. So first I take my horizontal first row, and then I'm going to go ahead and take that sashing strip, and then I'll flip it right sides down, and I'm going to be really careful here. So I pin at each intersection. So I'm going to pin at the intersection where my block ends and meets the vertical sashing. So I'm going to pin at both those corners, and then I'm going to pin all throughout along the top edge of that block wherever I see those colors needing to go together. Now if you find your sashing strip is just a little bit maybe looser or wider than your block was because there's just a lot of pieces there, I recommend doing all those pins, and then when you sew it, actually flip it so that your sashing piece is down on your sewing machine table, and then your block is up towards your presser foot and your needle. That way those feed dogs will sort of pull that sashing through faster than your block, and it'll sort of ease in if you have any extra, just like a little bit of extra fabric in there that just needs to get eased into that seam. So I do that whenever I have a block that's just needs a little bit of help being coaxed into where it's supposed to be. I'll put that down towards my feed dogs. Once that top row is added on, then I'll go ahead and add the other horizontal sashing strips. And again, I just pin right where those vertical strips meet the horizontal strips so that that little red square is centered nice and evenly in between my brown sashing strips. That just keeps everything really nice and straight so that border looks like it just is one continuous piece and you don't have jogs. Now if you do have a little bit of a place where it got off here and there, honestly, if you can fix it, go for it. If not, I try not to worry too much about those things, because in the long run, once your quilt is all quilted and people are using it, people rarely notice things like that. It's probably just something that's going to bug you. And if it's something that bugs you too much, or you know you're going to be staring at it every time you pull that quilt out, I will go ahead and try and fix it. If it's something that I'm like, I'm probably never going to notice it, then a lot of times I will just leave it, just to be honest. So you do whatever makes you feel better for your quilt. And since we added our brown sashing strips to the sides when we created our horizontal rows, we actually don't have anything else to add around the outside edges except for that nice, large, wide outer border that I did in a low volume fabric. I love doing these big wide borders on the outside and then framing that inside like that. I think it just really helps make the center of your quilt pop. If you want to omit those outer borders, you can, unless you did the bow unit. And then we do need to make sure that we're lining up that bow when we're adding that top border. And I do that the same way as I did when I was adding the top sashing border, making sure that those ribbons matched up with the ribbons on the block. And just because you really want that bow to line up, I did make the outside pieces a little bit longer so that you have some wiggle room in case you need to adjust your bow a little bit so that it lines up perfectly with the ribbons. So I pin there and then pin all the way across, and then you can trim off any excess. And I just wanted to do that for this one because I really want to make sure that bow is centered. And if for some reason your stuff was off just by like 1/4 of an inch, that would be really annoying. And so having that the rest of that top border a little bit longer is just a great way to make sure that you can center that bow perfectly. So once you have all those borders on, you're done with our project. Now I did do a pieced backing on this, and the instructions for that are included in the pattern as well. And so I thought it would be fun when we made our bows for the top sashing. We actually made 2 of them, one for the top of the front of our quilt, but then also we made an extra one for the back of our quilt. When we made the star block with the ribbons in it, we also made 2 of those. And so for the second one, I did an Ohio star, and I put my quilt label right in the middle of that Ohio star. It was a perfect place to label the quilt, and then it looks really intentional. Well, it is really intentional having that right on the back of our quilts. So for the quilting on this, I went a little crazy this time, and I did some swirls with stars, but I also added in little holly leaves because I thought that would be really cute. And I have talked about it a little bit on other videos, and you guys have requested me to do something a little more in depth on how I do the free motion quilting on my quilts. So I am working on that for you. I do have tutorials here on YouTube on free motion quilting and straight line quilting you can check out. And then I also have those available in my e-courses. If you'd like to get a little bit more in depth and learn how to quilt from start to finish, you can check those out. So I'll link all of that below this video. So for the fabric on this quilt, I used my Christmas Spools fabric leftovers from my Christmas Spools quilt. So I was working with a lot of scraps, which worked out really well for this project. I always encourage you to use scraps for these Sew With Me's because they're smaller pieces and you can kind of just mix and match and have a lot of fun. So that's what I used. And then for the binding on this, I ended up using a red gingham because that's what I had left in my stash, and you all know I love gingham bindings. I just think they're so fun and they go really well with almost any season. So let's go ahead and take a look now at our cross stitch piece. I'm going to just show you really quickly how I finished it. So I've taken my finished piece and I've trimmed it down, and all the instructions for this are in the pattern. I also have cut a piece of sticky board, and I'm going to be using adhesive tape for this one. I'll put a link on the kind that I purchased below the video. And then I went ahead and folded the edges of my cross stitch piece where I wanted it so that it makes it a little bit easier now on the back side when I'm going to be adding my sticky board. So I can see where those creases are, so it's easy for me to see where to put that. So I'm just going to peel off that backing from our adhesive mounting board, and then I can just center that really easily on the back of my cross stitch piece. And I leave about an inch or so, maybe just slightly more than an inch overlap for my cross stitch fabric so that I can adhere it to the back. In previous videos I have used hot glue, but in today's video I'm actually going to be using this double-sided sticky tape, and I actually think this worked really well. The only place it didn't work quite as good for me was on the corners, but as you can see, you just add it on there, peel off that backing, and then you can just stick the cross stitch fabric right down on top of that. And it is craft graded, so it's not supposed to yellow, and it is supposed to last. I'm also going to be hot gluing this to the piece behind it, so I think with those two things in combination it should work pretty well. And then you can see here I'm just going to grab another piece and put that on the tops and bottoms, and you can cut it or you can rip it with your fingers. I went ahead and just cut that so I had a nice clean edge there, since this is going to be the outside edge. I didn't want any sticky hanging over. And you just place a piece on the top and the bottom, and then again fold up that fabric so that it sticks just like we did for the side edges. And there's a couple different ways to do the corners. I have folded in the corner first and then folded in the sides. That's usually how I do it when I'm hot gluing, but for this method I went ahead and just folded the sides in first and then folded the top and bottom edges down. I think it gave me a nicer corner on the edge of my piece. The only trick I used here was I did push in the edge of my cross stitch fabric just a little bit on those corners. That way it wasn't sticking out and showing on the front of my cross stitch piece. And then once I had that piece all done, that's what our finished stitchy piece looks like. So here's that. And then I also repeated that process with a board that was a 1/2 inch larger than my stitch piece with an accent fabric. And then I found this cute easel at Michael's and I thought it would be a good way to use it. It's also double-sided, so theoretically you could put 2 different pieces on there. And then I took a piece of fabric and I used my pinking sheer Olfa trimmer to trim those edges up so they just have kind of a decorative edge. And then I also used some spray starch on it so it had a little bit more structure to it so it's not so flimsy. And then here I'm just taking a hot glue gun. I'm going to place some hot glue on the back of the stitched piece and then I'll adhere that to my accent piece just so that it has a nice little border around it, and you just want to press that in place. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing, add a little bit of hot glue to the back of the accent piece, and then I'll just be gluing that on to the easel. If you don't want this to be so permanent, you could use the magnet method where you can glue some washers onto that easel and then glue the magnets on the back of your cross stitch piece, and then that way you can actually reuse that easel and just swap those pieces out for seasons if you want to use that. And here is our finished piece right here. I think it turned out really cute. It's going to be really fun to display in my home for the holidays. And I hope you enjoyed this year's cross stitch monthly series. All right, I think that's it for our 2025 Sew With Me series. I really hope you all enjoyed this one, and I hope you learned something new most of all, and that you've enjoyed improving and getting better at your quilting. And then by the time we're done with all these videos, we have a really fun project to display. And then just like all of my other quilts, you can also take some of these blocks, you can double up on them to make this quilt larger. You could make individual ones to decorate your home, or make like maybe 3 in a row for a table runner. There's a lot of options with these Sew With Me projects. They are also the same size as all of my previous Sew With Me projects, and so you can mix and match those blocks from previous years with the ones from this year if you just want to create something totally different. So hopefully you're learning a lot and enjoying these, and I would like to announce that we will be having a 2026 Sew With Me series that will be starting in January and will run just like we did for 2025, and we'll be doing 1 block per month. Hopefully that one's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm already looking forward to it. So stay tuned for that coming soon. In the meantime, thanks so much for joining me for the 2025 Sew With Me series. Don't forget to join our Sew With Me Facebook group. Post all of your progress and pics there. And even if you didn't finish your quilt yet, don't worry about it. You can continue to post your progress in that group. So that's going to be it for today. And that is the wrap up for our 2025 Sew With Me series. And then join me in January for our 2026 Sew With Me. Got block bandit. Okay, insert that footage here. That shows the blocks we've done so far. Along the edge of that sashing. Wow, that is a loud airplane. I could just cut that out, honestly. All right, what else, girl? For the quilting, what did I do? Start, oh, holly and start. Oh, I did both. Fancy me.